You're not good enough. You don't have what it takes. Who do you think you are to do this? That voice in your head. You know the one. The voice that questions everything you do. The voice that makes you hesitate. The voice that keeps you small. It took me years to realize that my biggest obstacle wasn't the world outside. It was the voice inside. Today we're talking about the inner critic, the enemy within, and how to finally silence it before it stops you from living the life you were meant for. Let's be honest, if someone else spoke to you the way you speak to yourself, would you be friends with them? Think about that for a moment. If a stranger walked up to you and said, "You're not talented enough. You're too old. You'll never succeed." Would you listen? Would you let them control your choices? You'd shut them down. You'd walk away. You wouldn't let them dictate your future. And yet, when our own minds tell us these things, we believe them. We absorb them as truth. But here's something that changed my life. That voice? It's not telling you the truth. It's telling you a story, and you get to rewrite it. I remember the first time I truly became aware of my inner critic. I was sitting in front of my computer, staring at a blank page. I wanted to start something, a blog, a book, a project. But every time I reached for the keyboard, my mind filled with doubt. You're not a writer. No one will care. You're going to embarrass yourself. And just like that, I closed the laptop. I walked away. And I did. Nothing. But later that night, I asked myself, where's this voice coming from? And I realized it wasn't really mine. It was an echo of things I had heard in my past. A teacher's criticism, a moment of failure, a fear that someone, somewhere, might judge me. I had spent years letting an old, outdated script run my life. But just because a thought appears in your mind doesn't mean you have to believe it. So how do you stop the inner critic from controlling you? Here's what I've learned. You don't fight it. You reframe it. Let me show you how. Step 1. Name it. First, give your inner critic a name. Sounds silly, right? But trust me, it works. When that voice starts tearing you down, call it out. Oh, that's just negative Nancy talking again. Or, there goes fearful Fred. When you separate yourself from the voice, you take away its power. Step 2. Challenge it. Next, when a critical thought pops up, don't accept it as truth. Question it. If your mind says, "You're not good enough," ask, "Says who? Where's the proof?" Most of the time, you'll realize there isn't any proof. It's just fear in disguise. Step 3. Replace it. Here's the game changer. Every time your inner critic says something negative, replace it with a positive truth. Instead of, "I'm not smart enough," say, "I am capable of learning anything I put my mind to." Instead of, "No one will care about what I have to say," say, "Someone out there needs to hear this." Little by little, you retrain your brain, and the more you do it, the quieter that inner critic becomes. One day, I decided to test this theory. I sat down at my desk again, opened my laptop, and waited. And sure enough, the voice came. "You're wasting your time. This won't work." But this time, instead of shutting the laptop, I answered back, "That's not true. I am allowed to try. I am allowed to learn. I am allowed to take up space." And then, I wrote my first paragraph. It wasn't perfect. It wasn't even good. But I did it. And in that moment, I realized I was no longer under the control of my inner critic. I had taken back my power. So here's your challenge today. Pay attention to the voice in your head. The next time it tries to bring you down, don't just listen. Challenge it. Ask yourself, is this true? Or is this just fear talking? And then, replace it with a thought that empowers you instead of holding you back. Because the truth is, you are capable, you are worthy, and the only thing standing in your way is a voice you don't have to believe anymore. In the next episode, we're going to talk about something that stops so many of us, the myth of the perfect time. Why we convince ourselves we need to wait for the right moment, and why waiting is the biggest dream killer of all. But for now, silence that inner critic. Take back your power, and remind yourself you are enough. I'll see you in the next episode. And remember, the way you speak to yourself shapes the way you show up in the world.